Hi, my name is Jonathan. I am the founder of the Scrutiny Group. I'm going to take a minute here to explain to you kind of the story behind how Scrutiny Group came about, what I hope to accomplish with Scrutiny Group, and how that may involve you. So the story is about 8, 9 years ago. I had this increasing frustration with how much media was coming at me that was unreliable. My friends, Snopes was new, so my friends were being snoped right and left. Can't remember if I've been snoped. I don't want to be arrogant and say I never was. It might have happened. I definitely snoped other people, but yeah, there's this sort of surge of just junky facts that people were spouting all over the internet. And it just got to the point where I got quieter and quieter because I didn't want to say something and then be caught saying something wrong for two reasons. One, it makes you look like an idiot, but two, I personally have an internal curiosity, a thirst for truth. I'm going to use that word very loosely, and facts. And I want to know. I don't want to know the wrong things. So because of that, I couldn't constantly look into every single thing that everybody was talking about. However, I just sort of picked big things from time to time to drill down on them and look into them more deeply, and sometimes talk about them because I felt like I knew what I was talking about was based on something, not just what other people said or what's going around. So the first one I did was read the 9/11 Commission Report. Turns out not a lot of people have read the 9/11 Commission Report. And it was really, really interesting. I learned a lot. And that kind of got me on the track of this deep dive thing. Fast forward to the Deepwater Horizon, the oil rig. People were squawking about that. And at one point I'm just like, I'm going to check it out. I'm really going to look into it and try to figure out what's going on here and not just what the blue team or red team is saying here. And I did, and it led me down all kinds of really interesting rabbit holes and actually really fun. It was one of the better examples of just me enjoying myself doing research, including listening to like federal prosecutors doing cross-examinations of the engineers who were on the rig. And just hearing it straight from them. It was really interesting. And the facts I learned didn't fit anybody's narrative. So it was great. I've done some other smaller deep dives. Nuclear waste disposal is one of them, which kind of dovetailed with my personal fascination with marine biology. I tried to listen to this. The whole Dakota Sioux thing with the pipeline, the Dakota pipeline. I tried to dig into that one, and actually I couldn't do it. There was so much heavily charged reporting there. I'm sure there's a way. I gotta believe there's a way, but I was not able to come up with like a solid set of facts in which to have a position. I had to abandon it. And to this day, I'm like, I don't know what happened there. I can't tell you what happened there. I have all these conflicting reports. I don't know. I don't even feel comfortable speculating on that one. It was really crazy. So I was talking to people a little over a year ago and found out that there were other people that A, kind of shared my frustration, and B, kind of did these deep dives too from time to time. So then I had this light bulb moment. I'm like, why don't we just collaborate? If I'm doing a deep dive here and you're doing a deep dive there, you probably want to know what I've come up with. I definitely want to know what you come up with. Let's coordinate this. So the concept of the Scrutiny Group was born. I got the name from pretty much thesaurus.com and lots of time on a domain site trying to find what's available. So that was born. We pulled these people together. We created this cool thing and this plan. But the plan was to continue these super deep dives that take months and months and months, and then sort of boom, publish our master reports as each one's completed. And they were just so big and so taxing. I didn't finish mine. I was working on the Flint water crisis, and I learned a lot. I made progress. I wrote stuff, but it never hit that level of, all right, now we're ready to publish, So it kind of died. Everybody just lost info. It was high effort, low reward. So it sort of just petered out. But the idea would not go away. It continued to bother me in my mind, continued to bother other people in their minds. People would bring it up to me, and I'm like, it wouldn't go away. So I had this idea this year, I want to say January or early February, of respinning Scrutiny Group as in a content creation model. So video blogging, kind of like what you're seeing right now. There's a YouTuber that does something like what I'm thinking, where they put actually by bullet points just up there. I want to do that. Maybe cut in some video clips as we have the ability, but basically make sort of this rich media report that's still just kind of the facts. This other YouTuber I'm talking about, it's very dry, but also kind of enthralling because he's just using major sources and he's pulling together, but he does inject more of his opinion. And that's why I don't think like we're just copying what he does. He kind of injects a lot of opinion. He sort of goes back and forth between these long stretches of just putting the facts out and then heavily editorializing. The idea for Scrutiny Group, rather, what I think will make it unique, make it kind of differentiated, is the fact that, first of all, it may be about politics in some cases, but it's not political. It is definitely not ever a red versus blue thing. I'm not on either of those teams. I definitely have my own biases. I would never present media as unbiased. However, and I'll get to it in a minute, studying biases is something I do in my day job, and it's something that I want to talk about in Scrutiny Group. We'll actually bring those to the surface and talk about cognitive biases. And then the more we talk about it, the more we can sort of be aware of when we're doing it and don't do it. And no one's doing that I know of. So what do we hope to do? We hope to put out a regular cadence. I said a content creator model, right? So we hope to put out a regular cadence. I'm thinking twice a month now. That's a little bit slow for content creators, unless you're Dan Carlin. I am not Dan Carlin. I would love to do even once a week cadence, but that would require a lot of research pouring in, because the whole point of Scrutiny Group is we do the due diligence. And we can't really do hot stories because the real facts haven't crystallized yet. So I'm talking about major topics. I mean, you just heard me talk about 9/11 Commission report, Deepwater Horizon, Lakota Sioux. I'm just sitting here thinking, was Lakota Sioux from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and I'm mixing those two up. That's why I have a fact checker squad. So, get back on track. The idea here would be that, we pick major topics, not just what's sort of trending in the weekend news. We hit them from a nonpartisan standpoint with some but transparent biases. And we'll just pretty much bullet point. We'll stick as much narrative as to put a little glue to it, but not a heck of a lot, and just let the facts kind of stand for themselves. There is part of me that likes to riff like I am right now and just go on and on and on. And I think that would either be a subset show or maybe an after show thing. Scrutiny needs to be true to just being factual information, and it doesn't matter what your political persuasion is. You'd be disinclined to disagree most of the time. It kind of reminds me of Adam Conover, Adam Ruins Everything guy. I respect him in many ways because, one, he studies the science of changing people's mind. He's very aware of the cognitive biases that cause people to shut down and not absorb new and challenging information that disagrees with their beliefs. And he actually tries to engineer ways to get around those obstacles and get through to people. That's pretty cool. And he has a research squad, which is great. And he reads a lot, which I need to work on. So in some ways, I look at Adam Conover as sort of ideal. Not that we're doing an Adam Ruins Everything, because his format's different. He has a TV show. He's like a Comedy Central guy. I'm not short. But the reason I say this is the dry story will speak for itself. This other YouTuber I'm talking about, it kind of does. Like, especially in the episodes where he doesn't really editorialize, you're just kind of at the end, you're just kind of like, I listened to a guy sit there and basically read bullet points for the better part of an hour, and I was riveted because it's real. So what Adam Conover does also is, like, there's sources behind this stuff. And he often puts them, even like little short links or whatever, in his videos to sources. This kind of gets me to why me. I have kind of a marketing creative distant background. So I have a little bit of professional video, a little bit of professional animation, a lot of professional graphic design, a lot of professional branding experience, kind of in the background. In recent years, I've been user experience researcher. So my head has been 100% in the research space, which isn't the same as like investigative journalism research, but it's still trying to pull in concrete insights and facts out of a big wild world. So I think I have that going for me. Also, one of my other pursuits, I'm learning online investigations, like, open source intelligence investigation skills. So there's sort of a fusion from that also. I've done some professional writing, not a whole lot. Also some script writing, not professionally, at a hobby level. And so I kind of see all of these as a fusion together. And I've actually been looking for podcasting ideas for more than 2 years because I've kind of known that I've got this skill set, but I've been really picky because I know if you're going to do this, you got to go all in, like really all in. So there's been a lot of good ideas, but none of them were great ideas. And Scrutiny Group won't go away. And that's part of why I'm reapproaching it, because I'll just, if I didn't do Scrutiny Group, it would bother me. Part of the power, I think, of this entire thing is that I want to consume this content. So some of these other guys who do podcasts say it's like, if you create it for you, if it's stuff that you generally want for you and like for you, there's power in that. And that's exactly what I mean. Like, I want to find this stuff out. Like, that's so I feel like I'm the first and most interested consumer in anything that Scrutiny Group has to offer. And if anyone else out there catches my level of curiosity and interest, then boom, we've got a community. So that's the why me, there's the why you part, right? If you identify with all of these things I've mentioned, frustration at how much heavily slanted, heavily propagandized media there is out there, if you don't like being caught and called out on social media or in conversations with smart people because you're making an assertion based on some fact that turns out to be not a fact, or you're just not confident in it, if you're just got a crazy amount of curiosity and want to know what's really kind of going on in the world, at least in little bits and pieces, that's kind of what I hope to do. Like, if you have the same curiosity to know these things and find these things and especially dig these things up, then we need to talk, because I'm basically translating much of the kind of methodology I do in my day research and modifying that for Scrutiny Group so that we can efficiently gather massive amounts of information, catalog it, which I know sounds boring, but it's really not bad. And that will put us in a position to create content at a pretty fast pace, because we don't need to be super dramatic. or super fancy. Obviously, I've got a studio, some technology going on. But I'm trying to design this to work, to be sustainable, to actually grow, to actually be good and professional and something people like and worth doing. But I need more people filling in those sources and insights in the documentation. And so, yeah, there's definitely volunteer or even just there's kind of different like choose your own level. If you want to be seriously heavy involved, like great. If you just have a little time to commit to catch something or question something or ask about something or review something or even spell check something, I need the help. I can't do it as one person. There's a lot, again, to do these stories justice, to do the due diligence that's necessary is really non-trivial. So please reach out to me. I'll probably make a way on this webpage. Otherwise, you can direct message me, Scrutiny Group, on Twitter. You could message Scrutiny Group on Facebook. So there are ways. And mainly I operate out of Discord, the Scrutiny Group Discord. So if you're familiar with Discord, this should be really easy for you. But Discord really is the easiest platform for very high levels of collaboration with this type of group. And that's where I've got all of my projects going on, all of my documentation. I'm going to be very transparent about it. And a lot of people will be able to like view the sources. That's the plan. That's where we're at right now. I'm writing episode 1, and depending on how big it is, that might be episode 1, 2, 3. We'll see. Right now, literally tonight. I mean, not the whole thing, due diligence, but we're moving on this thing right now. So that's what I am, who I am, what we're doing, and we'll see what happens. It'll be a fun experiment either way. Take care.